Thanks for joining this video. I'm going to show you how to make a rosary. That's a corded rosary, and the color of the rosary you can see here is actually the color of Divine Mercy. We have red Hail Mary beads and then a clear Our Father bead, so representing the blood and the water and the Divine Mercy. So thank you for joining this video. I'm going to show you how to make these rosaries. They're very simple to do. The kit that providing to you actually comes with enough rosary materials. There's enough to make 10 rosary beads here. There's and then we also have some string, which I've already pre-cut to provide you. There's two lengths of string. One is short, one is long. Here's the short one, here's the long one. And then I provided you with crucifixes, as well as the centerpiece. And then these are the Our Father, which are the clear. They're the larger bead than the Hail Mary, the Our Father clear beads. So this is all the material that I provided you to kind of get started. I've actually provided a link to this video, which if you'd like to order your own material from Our Lady of the Rosary Makers, they would be happy to help you, and their prices are very good, and they could take care of you. Just contact them directly. There's a 1-800 number, as well as I'll give you a link for all these different part numbers or rosary bead numbers to help you to make it easy to order it. So what I'm going to do is actually show you, if you were to get your material, you would actually receive, the bag of all the rosary beads, and also nylon cord, which is enough to make 100 rosaries. So it's a bonded cord, and there's two lengths. You've got a shorter length here, which is 14 inches. It's a little bit more than 2 inches more than 1 foot for the short piece, and that will allow you to make this section here, which is the crucifix to the centerpiece. And there's also a longer cord, which allows you to do from the centerpiece and loop all around with all of your Hail Mary 5 decades back to the centerpiece. And the length of the longer nylon cord is 34 inches. So that's kind of what I've worked out, and it seems like you don't have a lot of extra material in doing that. And I have knots here, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. This is a very simple way to make the rosaries, and again, you'll feel comfortable in no time doing this. So I'm going to actually show you how to tie the knot. Once you've done one knot, that's the same knot you're going to be using throughout making the rosary. So it's very simple. And with the rosary knot tool that you get from Our Lady of Rosary Makers, it's very easy to use. So I'm just going to kind of show you an example of how to actually tie the knot that's used. That same knot is used throughout the whole rosary. So for example, what you do is you kind of use your finger, your forefinger and your thumb, and you hold the tool between them, and you hold the cord. You kind of just press down on it with your thumb, and you wrap it around around the tool, and you want to go in a descending order. You wrap it around 6 times, 3, 4, 5, 6, and after the 6th time, you take the end of the cord and you just slip it through this little opening here in the tool, and it just slides up. And then what you do is, once you've got the shorter end of the cord and the longer end that you're kind of going through here, you just kind of slide it off the knot tool, and then you keep it together as best you can. It may seem a little awkward the first couple times you're doing it or whatever, but you kind of keep the knot kind of in the best shape as you can, kind of using it between your hands to kind of keep it together. And then what you do is you're actually going to tighten on it. You use your strength in your arms and your hands just to kind of pull on it with your left hand, and then you pull it on the right hand. That's the knot. So that's pretty simple. And at this point, I'm going to actually begin making the rosary. So that was just an example of how to make a knot. So we just spent a few seconds here going through how to make your knot. And this is actually, what we're going to do is make the first section here, which is from the crucifix to the centerpiece. So I'm going to show you how to do that. again, what we want to do is take the string, the nylon, and you want to put it right through the opening of the crucifix. Kind of go from the bottom up. And you want to leave probably like enough of maybe like about 2 inches going outside the crucifix. That's your short end. And the way you do this, again, we just showed you how to do your knot. You put the tool between your index finger and your thumb, and you keep both of the short end and the longer end of the cord together. But what you do here is you wrap the cord around both of the cords. So I did it 1 time, 2 times, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after the 6, you kind of insert it back in the opening here on the tool, and you kind of slide through the longer end of the cord. And again, what you want to do is keep the knot as best you can together here as you slide it off the tool. And what you want to do is just to kind of keep the different wrappings or the loops together. And you can slide it down, because as you pull on this, you're going to actually, the knot is going to come up away from the crucifix. So you keep it all kind of together to get the form of all the cords wrapped around each other, which that looks pretty good there. So now I can start tightening it. So I hold the crucifix here with my thumb and my forefinger, my index finger, and I just pull on it with a longer cord, and a little bit of strength in your hands, and it makes a really tight knot. So the spacing here, you want to have it probably at least a 1/2 inch, but the important thing is that the spacing you have between the crucifix and the knot, you want to keep that consistent with the spacing you have between the knot and the centerpiece. So you want to have the kind of looking similar in terms of the spacing between the crucifix and the knot, and the centerpiece and the knot's here. So it's a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. And not to be exact, but just to kind of give you an idea. And now what I'm going to do is actually, I've got 2 Our Father clear beads, and I have 3 Hail Mary smaller beads here, the blood and the water. So I start with an Our Father bead, and all you do is you just kind of insert it right through the opening. And then what you do is actually you just kind of keep on putting on the Hail Mary beads. Three of them. And then what you do is you end it with the Our Father, the clear bead, and then you tie a knot here, and you tie it. The centerpiece has 2 holes on one side and a single hole on the opposite side. So you want to use, for the connection here with the crucifix to the centerpiece, the one that has the 1 hole opening. That's where you want to insert the longer end of the cord through. So as you go through that, you want to leave probably spacing of maybe about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, somewhere in that range. And then you just kind of take with your index finger and your thumb, you kind of hold them together, the centerpiece and the cords, and you wrap the cord, but this time you want to go under the beads that you just assembled. So you go around 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'm a little bit short on length, so I'm just going to go 5 times around. So you insert it through here, and again you keep the knot together, and you pull on it. You hold the centerpiece, and you hold the string, the end here. Kind of get it in the form you want, and you can actually slide it down a little bit closer to the centerpiece. And then as you hold the centerpiece and pull on the string, it's actually going to pull the knot closer to the Our Father bead here. So watch as I pull it. You can see it kind of cinches it up. So it kind of brings that knot right close to the Our Father bead. You want to leave a little bit of gap so you can move the beads in between. But again, you want to have, just from a look standpoint, a very similar size between the knot and the centerpiece and the knot and the crucifix. So that's the short section. So now what we're going to do is attach the longer cord to one of the openings here. There are 2 on the centerpiece, And you slide the string through, give yourself probably about 2 inches. You take the tool, put it between your index finger and your thumb, and you wrap it. I'm going to do 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you take the other end of the nylon string and you kind of slide it through. So this is the longer cord, which I cut it to about 34 inches in length. Shorter cord again was about 14 inches in length. So you pull the knot together and keep the form as best you can. And then what you do is you hold the centerpiece with your left hand and pull the string, the cord with your right. And that'll tighten the knot. Okay, here we go. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take 10 Hail Marys. Just magically happen to have 10 in my left hand. So what you do is you just start putting the nylon cord through each of the 10 Hail Marys. It's probably a good idea to count your beads twice. String once, count twice. That way you make sure you're not missing a Hail Mary with your decade, or if you don't, make sure you don't have too many. But not to worry. It's easy to recover if you do miss a bead, or if you do put an extra one in there. Taking the knots out is pretty easy, very simple. So I've got 7, 8, my 9th, 9, 10. Okay, so again, you can just do a quick count. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 Hail Marys. They kind of slide right down to the centerpiece, like that. And now I'm going to add my Our Father clear bead. And then I'm going to continue this until I have all 5 decades on here. So we kind of fast forwarded here. I've already assembled the rosaries, but you can see here I have 5 decades of 10 Hail Marys, the red color representing the blood of our Lord, and then the clear representing the water of our Lord for the Divine Mercy colors. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decades on this long string right now. I haven't tied it off, but we're going to do that momentarily. But to make sure you have the right number of beads, it's kind of a good habit to get into, is you just kind of hold the rosary, you know, the centerpiece and the string, and you keep the first Hail Mary beads kind of together at the top, and you look to see where your Our Father beads are, and those line up perfectly. And you go to the next decade, and those line up perfectly. So this looks good. You have 10 Hail Marys for each decade, and we just confirm that by lining up the Our Fathers, and they're both next to each other. So right now I'm going to tie off the final knot, which is through your second opening on your centerpiece. And you pull the long string through, and you make sure that all the beads are kind of pushed down as far as they can, so they kind of, along all of the decades, they kind of push up to the other knot that's at the other end of the centerpiece. So you leave yourself again probably about a 1/2 inch space here, and you have the Hail Mary bead and the long string here. And now what we want to do is put our knot tying tool right in between your index finger and your thumb. So now I'm going to wrap it around 6 times again, and I'm going to go underneath the beads after I wrap it, make like a cross underneath, or an X. So you go 2, and every time you wrap it, you get closer to your thumb in a descending order. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you take your long string and you slide it through the opening in the tool. And all you do now is, again, you slide the knot, the loops that were on the knot tying tool, you slide them off the tool. And you try and keep them together as best you can before you pull on the string. Kind of form them with your fingers and however you can do it, just to kind of keep them together. And as you pull the string a little bit on the longer string, it's keeping those loops together to get that shape that you want. And then you hold on to the centerpiece, and what you do is you hold the centerpiece with your left hand and you pull with your right. Let me see. Okay. Slide it down a little bit. Okay. And I pull on the knot by pulling the string and holding the centerpiece with my thumb and the index finger in the left hand. And that's it. Voila. So you've got your first rosary. And all you need to do now is cut the excess string off, which is pretty easy to do. You just need to make sure you use a very sharp pair of scissors, which I happen to have right here. And you kind of go under the long length of the string and get as close to the knot as you can, and then just snip it. And then do the same on the next piece. And then you have two more on the shorter part of the Hail Mary beads. And then the last one here. Here you go. Here we go. It's your first rosary bead. So I'm going to leave in the link below the website you can go to order the material. Again, it's Our Lady Rosary Makers. They're based in Louisville, Kentucky. I'll leave the phone number. You can talk to them. Their support, customer service, people are fantastic to call. But I'm going to give you the list of the supplies that I have here. If you like to use those in your order, or if you want to change it to any other color, they have many, many different colors of Our Father beads and Hail Mary beads, and a lot of different choices depending on what you're interested in making. So, thank you for watching this video. Our Blessed Mother is smiling, with you making these and giving these to people. And when you're done making them, you can go to your local priest, have them blessed, and then distribute it to people to begin praying the rosary. Thank you very much. Have a great day.